And a good afternoon to you from Joplin, Missouri. The 2020 ACCA Men's Basketball Tournament rolls on, our third of four quarterfinals. We move to the bottom half of the bracket. Champion and LA have advanced at the top half, and now this is the 2-7 matchup. The second seed Arlington Baptist Patriots at 10-17 from Arlington, Texas, taking on the 7 seed Kansas Christian Falcons at 15-12 from Overland Park, Kansas. Chris Shima, glad to be with you once again. Let's meet the starting lineups for these two teams. First for John Jansen's Falcons, it's number 5, Elijah Ransom. Number 11, Ja'Cory Washington. Number 12, Wilkins Desir. Number 13, Stephon Jackson. And number 23 is Joshua Plain. Starting today for Glenn Hartson in his second season in Arlington Baptist is number 3, Trey Mallard. Number 10, Jordan Williams. Number 21, Devon Stafford. Number 22, Sheldon Hodge. And number 32 is Chris Jordan. So a little behind today. We've seen a lot of whistles in the first 3 games. Fingers crossed it'll be a little cleaner here in this third of 4 men's quarterfinals, as the 2-time defending champs Arlington Baptist take the court for the first time. Of course, Kansas got a big victory against FLBC yesterday. These two teams are meeting for the second time this season. It was a good game in the first meeting during the regular season in Overland Park. Back on January 8th, it was Arlington Baptist winning 77-72. The Patriots shot 45%, holding Kansas Christian to 38% shooting in that game. Patriots also plus 14 on rebounding, leading scorers in that game. Sheldon Hodge had 19, Devon Stafford with 16, Brackens 13, Williams with 12, Trey Mallard also had 11. And for Kansas in the losing effort, just one player in double figures, it was Adavante Johnson who finished that game with 10 points. So rebounding is the key, of course, for Kansas today. They have to take care of the glass a little bit better than they did in the first meeting between these two teams. And an early sub after 2 quick fouls by Ransom. So Jovan's Hyacinth coming into the game here in the first minute of the game. Arlington getting on the board courtesy of those free throws. 2-zip now in favor of the Patriots. Hyacinth off the bench. Misses the 3 off the back iron. And the rebound controlled by Devon Stafford at 6'5". He's got a good wingspan as well, those long arms. Attacking is Mallard, can't get it to go. Put back by Jordan, and another whistle is called. So 3 quick fouls on Kansas Christian here at the start of this one. Plain picks it up. Chris Jordan at the line, 65% on the season. And connects on both there. So Arlington 4 of 4 from the free throw line. That free throw shooting has proven to be a significant statistical category here in this tournament, so something to keep your eye on. On the left side is Jackson. Winner of this game will play the winner of our nightcap between Rama and Ozark, scheduled for an 8:15 tip-off. Hyacinth fakes the 3, drives in, scoops it off the glass, and Kansas gets on the board. Jovan's Hyacinth from Orlando, Florida. Mallard takes it out. Trey Mallard, part of that championship team last year. A lot of returning players, a lot of newcomers for Glenn Hartson, too. He did a good job of recruiting in the offseason, bringing in a bunch of new bodies. Historically, this is a good team come tournament time, Arlington Baptist, despite their sub-500 record. They won the ACCA tournament in 2015 and 14. They qualified for the NCCAA tournaments in 13, 14, 16, and last year. That ball batted, and it's going to go off Kansas. So nice job there by the Patriots to keep the possession alive. Yesterday, We saw that big Kansas Christian win over FLBC by a score of 87-56. 3 players in double figures. Stephon Jackson with 14 and Hyacinth also with 14. Deshaun Graves came off the bench for 12 for Kansas. So good start to the tournament for Kansas Christian as they get out on the run, and Jackson got whacked. So Jackson will go to the line. It's the first foul of the game on Arlington. Hodge picked up the foul, and Jackson goes to the line. Jackson on the season, 67% from the free throw line. He was 2 of 2 yesterday in the victory over Free Lutheran. This is his first of the tournament here. Jackson, it's 1 out of 2. Cut the deficit down to 1. Trapping pressure shown by the Falcons. Here's Williams out near midcourt with it. Jordan looking to post up, and the reach. Foul called on Washington. Chris Jordan, they say it was on the floor. Already 4 team fouls on Kansas. Here we go again. Williams to inbound, and got it to Mallard, who buries the triple. Trey Mallard, 15.5 points per ball game. He and Williams combined for about 30.5 per game. 60 of the 76.9 points per ball game scored by those 2 guys for Arlington. It's not a deep team as Hyacinth gets it to go on a couple of fakes. It's not a deep team in terms of scoring. In fact, 5 players account for 88% of all the scoring for Arlington, and those 2 players I just mentioned average a bulk of that scoring of those 5. Again, it's Jordan getting it out to Hodge. Fakes the 3. Hodge throws it up with the shot clock winding down. No. Jordan almost had the rebound instead. Jackson comes up with it, and he is fouled. So first time we've seen the Patriots here in this tournament. They were the ACCA champs last year, winning in the opening round over Ozarks, 84-76, then defeating College of Divinity in the semifinals, 85-77. And how about that thriller against Champion in the championship game last year? 75-73, that score in favor of Arlington. I mentioned it during the Champion game. It was one of the best games I called in my career. Very well played. Traveling is the call here. Stafford commits the foul. So far, the start of this tournament has been a little sloppy. And the start of this one, a little sloppy as well. Into the forecourt now. The Falcons, that's Washington. Over to Jackson on the left. Bounce pass to Johnson. Johnson, it's it underneath to the big man, Muchow. And it goes off him out of bounds. So we got some subs. Kansas Christian will shuffle a lot of guys in and out, much like we saw yesterday. John Jansen's team is very deep, and everybody will get their opportunity. So Sven Munchow out on the court with Hyacinth. Also, Desir remains as one of the starters. Johnson, Adavante Johnson checking into the game. And who am I missing? It looks like Jackson, another starter out there. Wilkins Desir starting to rack up the fouls. Kansas up to 5, so a foul a minute is about where we're at here in the tournament. Devon Stafford, 63% free throw shooter for Arlington. This is the first one. Stafford will try to salvage the trip here, put his team up by 3. Missed them both. Munchow from Osnabrück, Germany. Talked about him a lot yesterday. Good player, a lot of size off the bench at 6'7". Next tallest player on Arlington, Holmes and Stafford are both 6'5".
Number 40,
Jalen Lee has come into the game after that free throw, and he connects on his first field goal. Trey Mallard, 15.5 points, 5.5 rebounds, blocked by Munchow. Good defense there for Kansas. Falcons looking to push Desir into the forecourt. Over to Johnson on the left. Lee out near midcourt. Ball deflected, taken away by Williams. Williams goes behind the back to Mallard, who scores. What a pass. Jordan Williams, 10th in the ACCA at 3.3 assists per ball game, connecting on a nice dime there. 9-7 Arlington back on top. We expect this one to be close. It was a 5-point game in the first meeting. Kansas Christian, Desir can't get the three to go. We've not had a close game yet in this tournament on either the men's or women's side. We've only seen one women's game so far, but the men's games have all been blowouts so far in the quarterfinals and opening round yesterday. Stafford attacking, scoring, and the foul. 6 fouls on Kansas already. Players are going to have to go back tonight and readjust the way that they play the game of basketball, because this ain't going to fly on semifinal day. So Stafford, will try to complete an old school three-point play. He's a good shooter, 9th in the ACCA at 53%. Stafford completes an old school three-point play, 12-7. Arlington, their biggest lead is 5. Johnson into the forecourt. Plains come out. He's on the wing. Floater by Lee in the lane is no good. Most of today's play-by-play will be me setting the 5 on the floor for Kansas, as John Jansen's going to keep me on my toes over there. Stafford again looking to post. Nice defense by Munchow there. And here come the Falcons. It's Smith throwing a rocket underneath. Johnson takes a dribble and scores. 12-9. Inside 13 to play in this opening half. Williams attacking, and no defense that time. Jordan Williams, 36% shooter, 15 points per ball game, 2 years at Arlington. He is a senior. Hyacinth attacks, can't get it to go. Rebound to Arlington. Turning on the Jets, Trey Mallard, and Munchow got out of the way, and just like that, a 7-point lead. Timeout by Kansas. 12:29 left to go. Let's, for 30 seconds, take a look at the Scholar Athletes announced yesterday in the ACCA. $12:28 remaining here in this opening half, our third of 4 men's quarterfinals. We'll take a break from the guys and head to the women's bracket again. After this game, we'll have our quarterfinal between Ozark and Trinity, and that'll be 15 minutes after this game is done. Out of the timeout, off the bench, Walker buries the jumper for Kansas. That's Joshua Walker. Much needed bucket there. Trey Mallard for three, in and out. Two Arlington players were going for the offensive rebound, and Plain, who's back out there for Kansas, got the board, and he was fouled. Walker on the near side underneath Munchow. Yes, and the foul. Holmes called for the foul. So Alexander Holmes, sophomore from Michigan, has come into the game, picking up an early foul. 4 team fouls on the Patriots, 6 on the Falcons, with 11:38 left to go in this opening half. Old school three-point opportunity. Sven Munchow connects. 2-point game. So a 5-point run for Kansas out of that timeout. Mallard into the forecourt. So it's Mallard, Williams, also checking in Ty Broussard, number 33, with Holmes and Jordan. That's 17 fouls on Kansas. That's 17 fouls, so 1 and 1 will come here. And Williams will take the 1 and 1, 71% free throw shooter on the season. Jordan Williams. Arlington, the back-to-back ACCA champs, winning last year. Also won against these Kansas Falcons back in 2018. That was a 3-point game, a good championship game that year in 2018. 87-84, Arlington won that game. Jackson into the forecourt. Plain, cross court to Walker. Lee gets it back out. Plain for 3, and that's going to hit the top of the backboard and go out of bounds. Arlington came into the tournament playing well, too. They won. They had 5 of 6 at home. They went 3-3, but played their first 15 games on the road and 4 exhibitions against Lamar, Abilene Christian, McNeese State, and Stephen F. Austin. I watched the Stephen F. Austin game for about the first half, and Arlington, again, those games, exhibitions, but they were heavily on the road so far. Their best stretch, they won 6 in a row from January 8th to the 24th. They started 0-13 against a lot of scholarship programs, non-exhibition scholarship programs, the JUCOs and NAIAs and things like that. Their first win didn't come until the second semester, back on January 8th, as Trey Mallard goes to the bucket, put his team back up by 6. Quick trigger 3 for Landry off the back iron, and we're going to get a foul called on Kansas. So we'll walk down to the end of the other side of the court, 8th team foul, and a 1 and 1 coming for Arlington. And Chris Jordan will take the free throws. 65% free throw shooter, Chris Jordan. Kansas Christian by 31 yesterday, shooting 56% and holding FLBC to 26% shooting. First free throw up and in by Jordan. Jordan money on the second. Arlington with its biggest lead now at 8, 22-14. Desir will back it out. Washington has come back into the game. Jackson out there as well. Also Plain. Nice give and go there as Desir gets the bucket. Correction, it was Jackson with the bucket. So past the midway point of this opening half, and a 6-point lead for the defending champs. Driving to the bucket, good aggressive play for Jordan there. 24-16. Walker on the left side. In the corner, that jumper no good by Washington. Rebound to Jordan, and he lost it as Desir took it away. So Wilkins with a bucket. Now a turnover on the other end as well for Arlington. Walker scoops it off the glass and in. Back-to-back buckets off turnovers for Kansas, and their deficit is cut in half. It's now 4. That pass by Williams, but before that, an offensive foul called. It was actually on the pass. Let me correct myself.
Foul called on number 10, Jordan Williams.
So 3 straight turnovers for Arlington. Average about 17 a game compared to 15 for Kansas. Arlington went 6-2 against ACCA opponents, defeating Kansas, as I mentioned earlier. They also split with Champion, split with Rama, and defeated Ozark in their one meeting. The 2 other wins against Southwestern at Venice, which is not in the tournament this year. Plain connects for 3. 7-0 run for Kansas. Their deficit is down to 1. 8:23 left to go here in the half. Holmes' offensive foul is called. It'll be the 6th on the Patriots. .8:21 to play. Falcons in the middle of a 7-0 run. Chance to take the lead. Washington directing traffic. You hear the communication down on the court. Washington from the half circle buries it. 9-0. The run continues for Kansas. They take the lead, I believe, for the first time today. McClure has checked in. Brandon McClure for Arlington out there with Broussard and Jordan, also Mallard and Williams as the Falcons turn it over. Falcons bringing in Jackson Hall wearing number 0. And he goes right back to the bench. Elijah Ransom checking back into the game. McClure. Mallard. Ball deflected out. Last touched by the Falcons. So Williams to inbound 22 on the shot clock. Broussard. McClure, defender, went for the steal. Extra pass to Williams. Airballs the 3, but Broussard is there. Extra possession as it goes to Williams. He'll step into a 3. Missed it short. Playing the rebound. Here comes Kansas. Attacking is Johnson. Throws it off the glass. No good. Mallard the rebound. Mallard lost it, got it back, flips it up and in. That ends a 9-0 Kansas run, puts Arlington back up, and now back-to-back turnovers for Kansas. Here's Trey Mallard again attacking and again scoring. 4 straight for Trey. Devontae Johnson, good opening round game yesterday. The lone player scoring in double figures against Arlington in the first meeting was Johnson. Trey Mallard. Oh, fake the pass. What a beautiful show of the ball, Trey Mallard. He's one of those players that year to year has stood out in my mind. Remember him well from last year's tournament, playing well and leading his team or helping his team to a championship. Some newcomers for Glenn Hartson's team. As the baseline shot, open look by Desir, but it goes in and out. So after a 9-0 Kansas run, it's a 6-0 Arlington run as they lead by 5. Trey Mallard's had the hot hand during this scoring stretch. Free throw line extended, got another one. So we've seen it's been a game of runs that It's up to 7 now, the run for Arlington. Timeout by Kansas, 32-25, nearing the end of the half. We'll be back. If you don't want to memorize the full, the whole deal there, just go to acccasports.org. I don't know why I made that graphic. I needed something else to put up there every once in a while, but you can just go to the website and Championships drop-down menu. You'll find all the information for the official website of the 2020 ACCA Championship. Chris Sheeman back here with you. Ransom extra possession for his team after missing the jumper, but Desir is off the mark from the baseline. The run for Arlington, it was a 9-0 run for Kansas. Now it's an 8-0 run for the Patriots. They're out to a 7-point lead. Foul called on the Falcons. That's their 9th. That's the first on Adavante Johnson as well. Sends Brandon McClure to the line, just his 11th game of the season at Arlington. A late addition to the roster. Couldn't get the front end to go. That's Ransom into the forecourt. Ransom into the circle, into the lane, out to Johnson on the wing. Johnson, it's to Hyacinth, who's back out there for the Falcons. Hyacinth almost lost the dribble and throws it too high for Ransom. So an ugly possession there for the Falcons. Ball will go back to the Patriots, as I mentioned, in the middle of an 8-0 run after the Falcons scored 9 straight. Trey Mallard, one of the reasons why Patriots went on this run. Stafford. Here's Mallard. Mallard tripped up and called for steps. Good defense there by the Falcons to force that turnover. Halftime, we'll take our normal 10-minute break. See if I can get a vocal cord transplant. I'm trying to go hard for all 15 of these games because it's a few less than we've done in years past. And normally I try to rest one, but it's sore right now, y'all. It is sore. Floater no good by Jackson. Poe has come on. Underneath, Broussard can't get it to go. Number 11 is Trey Poe. He's a freshman in gray. On the rebound, we have a foul on Arlington. Both teams are in the 1-1. So we'll walk down to this end of the floor. Jalen Lee at the line. Was 1 of 2 from the free throw line during the regular season. And Lee rims in the first one. So just his 3rd and 4th free throw attempts of the year. That ends an 8-0 Patriots run, but just 1 out of 2, so Arlington by 6. Williams into the forecourt. Poe, corner 3, an air ball put back by Broussard is good. Lee driving, Lee throws it up, and a blocking foul is called on Poe's, trying to take the charge. Might have been in that restricted area. That's a tough angle, though, to be in that area. So another 1-1. This time it's Trey Poe, 4 of 8 from the charity stripe during the regular season. Short on that first one. So guys who have not seen a lot of free throw action getting... Oh, correction, that's Jalen Lee again. My apologies. So Lee is, with this now second attempt, will double his free throws attempted. Now what? Lane violation, I think. They've been not letting anything go. Teams have to be very disciplined in this tournament. You can't have your foot a centimeter over that line or they're going to call you for it. Broussard attacking, coming up out of control. Short playing into the forecourt now for the Falcons. Cross court to Jackson. Jackson, and another blocking foul is called. Again, in that restricted area. Some of you might not be old enough to know this, but that restricted area came to the NBA first, and it was because of Dennis Rodman. He would basically just stand underneath the hoop, and anybody that came at him, this was when he was playing for the Chicago Bulls during those final championship runs for the Bulls in the late 90s, he'd just fall down if anybody came near him. So they decided to, unwisely, in my opinion, to put that restricted area in. And then it came to the college game several years later, as we update the correct score for you, 34-29 now on your screen. Missed a couple free throws there. But I've never been a fan of it. Really, it was just that one guy. Dennis Rodman was the only one abusing that rule, and rather than calling him for blocking fouls, they changed the whole scope of the game, and for some reason it was implemented in college, but it's not my favorite. Jackson, Desir. Boy, they had a fast break, had trouble. Graves is out there. Graves had a good day off the bench yesterday. Deshaun Graves wearing number 30. That was plain burying it. It was a 3, so it's a 2-point game again. It's been a game of runs, and a block there called on Desir. That's another one, you know. You play hard defense, you trap a guy, and then they blow a whistle, and you say, okay, well, what am I supposed to do? It's possible he could have stuck his leg out there, but I'd have to go back and look at it again. Anyways, it doesn't matter what I think. That has been made abundantly clear. So more free throws to come. Trey Mallard missing that first one. Both teams are in the double bonus over the final 3:13. 1 out of 2. Arlington by 3. Into the forecourt, Kansas. Jackson losing the dribble. Good defense there by the Patriots. Williams scoops it to Mallard. Trey Mallard adding to his totals. Trey, just a sophomore too. He plays so much older than a sophomore. Hyacinth on the wing. Hyacinth's triple team, shot it anyways, and they call a foul. And that's one of those ones where, why are we rewarding a guy for throwing up a wild shot when there's 3 guys on him? .62% free throw shooter, Hyacinth. I'd swallow my whistle on that. There's no way I'd give him the benefit of that. The smart play was to move the ball out there for Hyacinth, but he does connect on the first one. Try to cut the game down to 3 now. And he does, 37-34. Arlington by 3, 2:42 remaining. Trapping press is on, no trouble for the Patriots. Now Trey Mallard, cut off on the baseline, gets it over to Downs, who's come on for the first time. Number 24 is Jamal Downs. And he follows his miss with a cleanup bucket. 39-34. Washington to Hyacinth. Plain on the wing. Long on the 3, Mallard the board. Trey will bring it up for Arlington. And that rocket is a bad pass. Graves turn with the steal. Out to Ransom. Let me correct myself. That's Walker, looking at the wrong number on the roster. So Walker gets the layup. It's a 3-point game again. McClure takes it to the corner, gets it out to Williams. Minute 44 remaining in this first half. Williams out to Downs. Downs in the lane, threw it away. Good anticipation, Hyacinth, and he's bumped. Downs committing a frustration foul there. Both teams in the double bonus. So Hyacinth back at the line. Halftime, we'll take our normal 10-minute break, and then we will give you the first half numbers and play-by-play. Hyacinth first free throw is up and good. Chance to make it a 1-point game. Kansas led briefly by 1 using a 9-0 run. And for the most part, the Patriots have led, although it's been pretty tight, which is what we expected. These two teams familiar with one another. 39-38 now, Arlington clinging to a 1-point lead late in this first half. McClure banks it off the glass and in. Good answer by the Patriots. So both of these teams using their bench. Brandon McClure averages just under 3 per ball game, connecting here. Graves can't get it to go. Correction, that was Lee. Double team comes, no trouble for Arlington. McClure swings it out to Williams from downtown, swishes it through. Jordan Williams, 36% from behind the arc. Inside a minute to go here in the opening half of this quarterfinal game. It's the 2-seed Arlington leading the 7-seed Kansas Christian 44-38. Hyacinths can't get it to go on the turnaround. Mallard on the run up. At an 8-second difference between game and shot clock. Williams, Hodge, back to him, and Glenn Hartson says, run the clock a little bit. Mallard attacks, swings it out to Hodge for 3. Yes! Arlington going on a mini run, pushing the lead out to 9. Plain's got 7 seconds to work with. Plain into the lane, and he's held. Foul on Downs. So Plains will go to the line. Joshua Plain, 62% free throw shooter. No good on that first one. Second foul on Downs, so he goes to the bench. One out of 2 at the line. 6 seconds to work with. McClure attacks. Swings it out. Mallard for 3. An air ball. But Arlington closes the first half strong, taking a 47-39 lead into the locker room. You're watching the 2020 ACCA Men's Quarterfinals. The 2-seed on top of the 7-seed, Arlington over Kansas after 20 minutes. We'll be back with the first half stats and second half play-by-play coming up in about 10 minutes. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Joplin. Arlington out shooting Kansas Christian 53% to 40% in that first 20 minutes. And Trey Mallard with 20 of Arlington's 47 points as the Patriots start the second half 47 to now 41 over Kansas. So Kansas, well, not a bad shooting day, but they have to play better defense, allowing Arlington to get pretty much whatever they wanted on the interior. Plus 12 in rebounding for Arlington, just like the first meeting. That has been the difference. Rebounding and second chance opportunities for the Patriots here today. 5 offensive rebounds and points in the paint. Arlington 28 to 18. Points off turnovers. Kansas winning that category 16 to 6. Kansas, of course, also winning the bench with a lot more depth at 22 to 6. But second chance points 6-zip in favor of Arlington. And there is your biggest difference. I mentioned Trey Mallard with 20 for Arlington as he buries his first jumper here in the second half to put his team back up by 8. Balanced attack leading scorer for Kansas Christian. Hyacinth with 8 points on 2 of 5 shooting. 7 for Joshua Plain to go along with 5 rebounds and 6 for Stephon Jackson. Other than Trey Mallard and his 20, Jordan Williams has 7 points, and Chris Jordan with 6 points, 5 rebounds so far today for Arlington. Jackson connecting on the bucket. It's a 6-point game again. These two teams meeting for the second time this season. Met back in January. It was a 5-point win for Arlington, 77 to 72. And Hodge starting the second half. Sheldon Hodge just 29% from behind the arc, connecting there. So Hodge hitting the 4th three-pointer for Arlington tonight. Trouble with the rebound for Jordan, able to gather on the second effort though. 9-point ball game. Winner of this game moves to the semifinals on the bottom half of the bracket. Stafford is held. Semifinals will be played tomorrow at 4 o'clock. It'll be the top seed champion and the 4-seed LA College of Divinity. And tomorrow night, it'll be the winner of this game against the winner of Rhema and Ozark. And that will be at 7:30. All times approximate. We're about 30 minutes behind today, maybe a little bit more than that. Trey Mallard's going to the line. Second team foul quickly on Kansas. Mallard no good on that first one. He's 1 for 3 from the charity stripe so far today. Make it 1 for 4. Wilkins Desir with the rebound, brings it into the forecourt for the Falcons. Wilkins 14.9 points per ball game. Now Jackson. Bounce pass over to Ransom. In the corner, it's Washington. He'll bring it out. Plain. Ransom, open jumper from the mid-range shot. Shot clock was under 10, couldn't get it to go. Here comes Arlington. And a bobbled ball there by Mallard will turn the ball back over to Kansas. Just about 3 minutes into the second half. I mentioned the winner of this game on to the semifinals. Loser of this game will go to the 5th place game, and they will take on Barclay. That will be Friday, tomorrow at 5:30, and that'll be at Crowder College as Jackson buries the jumper. Running and gunning, Arlington. Hodge can't get it, tried to tip it. It's deflected out, last touch by Kansas. .20 on the shot clock. Williams to inbound it, left of the hoop. And he had trouble, so he calls timeout. We'll step aside, just underway here in the second half. 16:52 remaining in the ball game, and Arlington leading by 7. Welcome back to Joplin. 19 on the shot clock for the Patriots. They have the basketball and a 7-point advantage. Chris Sheeman back with you, and foul on the floor there. Stafford drawing contacts. 3 quick team fouls on Kansas, much like they did in the first half, racking them up early. So Williams will inbound again. That shot clock back at 20. Hodge thought about it. Cross court to Trey Mallard. Stafford to the cutter. Hodge, who's stripped. Good defense by the Falcons. Jackson on the near side. Desir had trouble with the pass. And it looks like Desir got on the ball and called for time, so we will go away once again. Welcome back. 16:28 left to go. Falcons with the basketball, 24 on the shot clock. If you're looking for the women's quarterfinal between Ozark and Trinity, we are good. We've moved up to about 45 minutes behind now. So that game is scheduled for an approximate start of 6:30, and that's if this second half goes rather smoothly. Shot clock winding down. Jackson and airball, and Kansas will come up empty. Good defense there by Arlington. Trapping pressure shown by the Falcons. Hyacinth back out there for Kansas. Hodge gets it to Mallard, who will set up the offense. Now Williams. Williams looking for some space. Trey Mallard with the shot clock at 7, gets it to Stafford. Stafford throws it up over 2 defenders and gets it to go. Lead out to 9 for Arlington. Desir will back it out. Falcons patient against the zone. Ransom is bumped by Jordan. It'll be the first foul of the half on Arlington. Jackson Hall checks into the game. Kansas Christian 16-12, Arlington 10-17. The Falcons winning by 30 over FLBC in the opening round last night. Quick turnaround for them. Bucket and the foul for Desir there. Wilkins Desir will try to complete an old school 3-point play. First free throws of the evening now. Wilkins 69% free throw shooter. Good on that one. 54-48. 15-14 remaining. 3-2 the fouls. 3 on Kansas, 2 on Arlington in the first 5 minutes. Stafford on the elbow. Bounce pass out to Mallard. In the corner, it's Hodge. Hodge, entry pass by Jordan, deflected, taken away by the Falcons. Hall into the game. Hyacinth spinning, shooting, and coming up empty. Rebound by Jordan for Arlington. Throw ahead to Williams for 3. Missed it short. Rebound by Plain, that was, who collected on the board, and attacking is Desir. Got another runner in the lane. It's a 4-point game. So this is by far the closest game that we've had in this tournament, as Desir called for the tripping foul. That's 4 now on Kansas. Falcons have been hanging around here today. Jordan Williams with the inbound. Entry pass deflected, and it came to Hodge. Lucky break for the Patriots as they take a 6-point lead now, 56-50. 14 minutes and change left to go. Hyacinth. Johnson out there. Buries his jumper right off the bench. Adavante Johnson, the lone player who scored in double figures in the first meeting during the regular season for Kansas. He had 10 points in that loss to Arlington at home. Hodge to Jordan up top. This is Stafford. 3 in the key. Yeah, good call. Turnover gives the ball back to Kansas. .35 remaining. 4-point ball game as Stafford comes out of the game. And checking in for him is Alexander Holmes. Johnson traveled with the basketball. This one's been close, but it's been sloppy at times as well. Arlington had 11 turnovers in the first half to just 6 for Kansas. Williams. Mallard to top leading scorers for Arlington in the backcourt. Jordan throws it underneath. Nice extra pass finding Holmes, who connects. And Arlington back up by 6. 13:09 remaining. Hyacinth rockets it to Hall. Back to Hyacinth. Hyacinth, extra pass for Munchow, who checked in, but it's deflected. Good defense and taken away. Holmes, yes. So Jordan got the steal. Holmes got the bucket. Arlington back up by 6. Open look, Desir, corner 3. In and out and right back in. Timeout on the court. We'll step aside. 12:47 left to go. 2-possession game here in the men's quarterfinals. Kansas Christian has only led for 58 seconds of this game. Largest lead was 1. They used a 9-0 run in the first half, but they have hung around with the Patriots. It's been as competitive as the first meeting. Jackson now with the steal. Jackson to the bucket, missed it short. Hyacinth the rebound, he was out of bounds. They missed that one. Hall collects. So a break here. If you're Kansas, got to capitalize, and Desir with a bad-looking shot there. So ball will go back to Arlington, 12:20 remaining. This is the third of 4 quarterfinals today. The winner of this game plays the winner of our nightcap, Ozark and Rama, in the semifinals tomorrow night at 7:30 here at OCC. Loser will go to the 5th place game. Mallard, extra pass. Corner 3 is good by Hodge. He's played well here in this second half. And it's an 8-point lead again for Arlington. Inside 12 to go. Hall, open look. Short, grazed the rim, that's all. Mallard looking to run, 2-on-3. Mallard draws contact, and Trey Mallard will go back to the line. So Jackson picking up the foul, his second, team's fifth. Mallard 74% from the charity stripe this season. Money on that first one, chance to put his team up by 10. This matches Arlington's biggest lead of the evening now at 9. And if Mallard can get this free throw, Arlington will have its biggest lead. And they do. 10-point game, 65-55. Doesn't feel like a double-digit lead for Arlington. Kansas has done a nice job hanging around, but dangerous few minutes here now for the Falcons. Playing on the far side of your screen. Ransom back out there, as is Washington. Walker on the court with Jackson. And Plain, that's the 5 right now. Shot clock down to 6. Ransom from the elbow couldn't get it to go. And Holmes had the rebound. It was poked away by Washington, but out of bounds. So we'll stay with Arlington. Some trapping pressure again from the Falcons. No trouble, though, for Arlington. Holmes gets it to Williams. Williams over 2 defenders, can't get it to go. Same team going for the rebound, and Hodge fell down with the basketball, so traveling is the call there. Falcons will get it back. They need a bucket here, down facing their biggest deficit. Last year in the ACCA tournament, Kansas went 1-2, losing in the 7th place game to Ozark, and Arlington, back-to-back champs, trying to three-peat. Jackson out to Plain, hesitated. Jackson from the half circle takes it to the corner. Shot clock again winding down. It's at 5 right now. And a break for Ransom as the foul is called. Partially blocked, but also got a piece of his arm. So Ransom's going to go to the line. It's the 3rd team foul on Arlington near the midway point of this second half. Ransom 60% shooter from the charity stripe. Got them both to go. 8-point ball game, 65-57. And again, it's Mallard and Williams in the backcourt. No trouble yet on the press here in the second half for Arlington. I mentioned Kansas forced a lot of turnovers in the first half, but Arlington has settled down here in this second period. Trey Mallard. This is Jordan, turnaround hook, no good. Got the offensive rebound, waits for the defense, and draws the foul. That's 6 now on Kansas, so Arlington will be in the bonus for the rest of this game. Chris Jordan, 65% free throw shooter, rims in the first one. Chance to put his team back up by 10. Arlington has won this tournament since 2014, 4 different times. 67-57 now, just past the midway point of this second half. Jackson to Plain on the right wing. Walker in the corner, back to Plain. Quick pass to Washington off the back of the rim. Jordan the board. Mallard out of control, but luckily for him, it goes off a Falcons player as he lost the dribble. So it'll stay with Arlington. Trey Mallard to Holmes, throws it away. It's a good steal by Washington, and then Walker losing it, but I believe we're going to get a foul called on the Patriots. No, correction, that was on Kansas. That's their 7th team foul. Walker got the worst of the contact, but called for the foul as he goes to the bench shaken up. Second foul on him, and a 1-and-1 now for Trey Mallard. So Arlington in the bonus. Just 3 team fouls of their own, though, so they can stay aggressive front end. The 1-and-1 is good. Arlington with their biggest lead now. It's out to 11, and not a lot of energy right now for Kansas as they trail by 12. Got to dig in here in March. Desir gets it out. Jackson for 3. Big bucket there. Will that be some momentum for the Falcons? Mallard throws ahead in the forecourt. It's Hodge. Hodge pass off the mark. And Kansas gets the turnover they needed now. Cutting the deficit to single digits and now getting the basketball back here. Deshaun Graves from Kansas City, Missouri, coming into the game for the Falcons. Falcons from Overland Park, which is a suburb of Kansas City on the Kansas side, playing for 3, no good. And Jackson called for the foul, so more free throws to come for Arlington. This time it's going to be Chris Jordan. Chris Jordan, 65% during the regular season. Rims in the first one to put his team back up double figures. He'll get 1 more now. 18 fouls on Kansas, 3 on Arlington. 1 out of 2, so the lead remains 10. Jackson to Plain, now to Ransom. Ransom takes it to the hoop, hangs in the air and scores. Nicely done with the shot clock again winding down. And now a throwaway. Ransom with the steal. Open look, corner 3. Desir off the back of the rim. He's been off today. This time Hodge collects on the board. Doubled up, and he calls for time. So 8:16 left to go here in this third of 4 quarterfinal men's games. And Arlington with the 30-second timeout. We'll be back. $8:16 left to go. Arlington trying to hang on, and Kansas trying to claw their way back. They have went on a couple of runs throughout this game to keep things interesting. Arlington, though, has led for all but about a minute, as you see the clear foul there by Jackson. That's going to be 9 team fouls now on Kansas. So 1-1 now for Arlington, but double bonus the rest of the way. Still 8:07 to go. Chris Sheeman here with you, our fourth of 6 games here at Ozark today. And tomorrow's the busiest day. That's when they open up the other gym. We don't get started until 12:30 tomorrow. That'll be a women's semifinal game between Champion and Barclay. Trey Mallard, good on the front end. Chance to put his team up by 10 again. Just 1 out of 2, so the lead remains at 9 for Kansas. Falcons Graves trying to provide a spark off the bench, couldn't get it. Mallard the rebound. Mallard flies into the forecourt. In the corner, it's Jordan looking underneath for Holmes and threw it out of bounds. Ball will go back to Kansas. Do the Falcons have another run in them? They have not shown any signs of giving up here tonight. Starting to get some of the energy back that made them successful earlier in this game as well. Ransom to the hoop and draws the foul, just the 4th on Arlington here in this second half. So Ransom at the line buries the first one. 8-point ball game. Good on the second as well. So still a 3-possession game. Arlington leading by 7. Nearing 7.5 left to go. Mallard throws to Jordan in the forecourt. Back to Trey Mallard. Arlington, if you're just joining us, had an 8-point halftime lead. Trey Mallard with 20 points in the first half alone. Hodge back to Mallard for 3. Can't get it to go. Hodge tried to tip it in. No. Plains got the rebound. Here comes Kansas. Once again, fighting their way back. Washington, the mid-range. Short on it. Rebound by Jordan. Inside 7 to play. Williams. Mallard. Jordan, now Hodge. Attacking is Williams, the hop step. And called for an offensive foul. That's the 5th team foul on Arlington. 9 on Kansas. 6:44 remaining in the game. Washington into the forecourt, playing on the right side. Hyacinth. Good energy off the bench. Hyacinth in both games now in the opening round victory yesterday. Mallard's ball deflected out. So it'll remain with Arlington. The lead is down to 5 now for the Patriots. It's been as high as 12 here in the second half. As I mentioned, these Falcons, they got a lot of fight in them. They're not going to go away. Williams over to Hodge. Coming back in, Stafford. He's got the ball and draws the foul on Plain. 10th team foul on the Falcons. It'll be a 2-shot foul because he was in the act, but either way, it's double bonus time for Arlington over the final 6 minutes and change. First free throw up and good. Plain is out with his 4th personal foul, and Elijah Ransom coming back into the game for Kansas. Both free throws good, and for Arlington, that means a 7-point advantage. 3-possession game again. Jackson into the forecourt. Washington over to Desir. Hyacinth. Ransom. Ransom had it poked away. How about that play? Trey Mallard keeps his dribble, and he got hit. So Trey Mallard's going to go to the line to shoot 2 more free throws. Ransom now has 4. Luckily, John Jansen's got a deep bench. He might need it. First free throw, no problem for Trey Mallard. Mentioned Mallard and Williams, 60.5 points per ball game combined. Stafford, Williams, and Mallard are the 3 that score in double figures, and those 3 guys account for most of the points scored by Arlington this season. Hyacinth. Falcons down by 9 with the basketball. Desir over to Jackson. Bounce pass Hyacinth for 3. Yes. Man, he has been money. .532 to go. And not sure what the whistle was for, but Arlington, no trouble with the press for the most part in this second half. Did turn it over one time due to the press. Hodge, here's Williams, taking it near side, driving on Jackson, throwing it over to Hodge for 3. Hodge got it to go. That's a big bucket for Arlington, and they call for time. 5:08 remaining. The Patriots up their lead to 9. We'll be back. Welcome back to Joplin. We've got 5:08 left to go. Arlington trying to clamp down and book their trip to the semifinal game that'll take place tomorrow night. And Kansas trying for a comeback win. Go to the bucket, does Ransom, and he's fouled, so he'll go to the line. 16 fouls on Arlington. Elijah Ransom, 60% free throw shooter. Ransom gets the first one. Kansas, before winning in the opening round, had lost 4 in a row entering the tournament. They scored a season-high 137 points against Emmaus, who changed coaches midway through the year. Emmaus giving up 137 to Kansas back on November 22nd. It's a Kansas team that averages 85.7 per game. Won't get there today. Well, might not anyways. Arlington. Mallard top of the key. Bounce pass goes to Stafford. Shot clock at 1. Stafford draws rim, and the ball goes out of bounds off the Patriots. So it'll be Kansas ball. 3-possession game with 4:21 to go. This one is far from over. Hyacinth letting it roll now. Jackson will set up the offense. 2-3 zone for the Patriots. Hyacinth on the far side. Cross court to Jackson. Plain over to Hyacinth for 3. Tip for the rebound. Fight for it underneath. Ball deflected out. Here's Jordan in transition. Falcons sprinting back. Jordan wisely pulls back. Williams on the wing now. Williams wants to drive. Pull up on Plain off the back iron, and the board to Desir. Desir throws it for Ransom on the left. Defenders went for the steal, and Elijah Ransom makes it a 2-possession game, 78-73. Just past 3.5 to go. Pass to Stafford from Williams, and Arlington answers back with a big bucket. 7-point game. Jackson floater, yes. 5-point game again. The Falcons are not going away. Continue to work. Got to get a stop here now if you're Kansas. Inside 3 to go. Plenty of time. Williams to Mallard as Arlington breaks the press. .239 and counting. Shot clock down to 9. Mallard held it for a long time inside the free throw line. His shot goes in and out. Rebound controlled by Jackson, who tacks, can't get it to go. The putback by Desir, and it's a 3-point game. Timeout by the Falcons. Don't go anywhere. We got a 1-possession game here in the men's quarterfinal. We'll be back. Well, the closest game by far here in this 2020 men's tournament. 3-point game. Kansas trying to come back. Arlington trying to pull away again. Kansas has led for all of 58 seconds of this game. It was 26-25 in the first half. Looking for a stop defensively here. Arlington needs a score now, nearing 2 minutes to go. Try to get some of the momentum back. Hodge has hit some big shots today. Stafford as well. Williams shot clock at 8. Williams over to Mallard. Shot clock at 5. To Jordan. Shot clock at 2. Hoisted up. Can't get it to go. Great defense for Kansas. Now Ransom in transition. Ransom to the bucket. Yes! 1-point ball game. 80-79. Double team comes on Mallard, throws full court. No trouble there. Hodge. Is that going to be a blocking foul? Big call here, and it's going to go on Kansas. Remember, if you're just joining us, I should say, Kansas has sent Arlington into the double bonus, 10 team fouls. Arlington with 6 team fouls with 1:30 left to go. Jump ball possession arrow also favors Arlington. Sheldon Hodge, 68% free throw shooter. We'll go to the line here. Glenn Hartston bringing in Brandon McClure, replacing him with Devon Stafford. Free throw no good. So, opportunity now to make it a 2-point game. Hodge rims it in. 81-79. Kansas looking for its first lead of this second half. They can get it with a 3. Hyacinth has had a hot hand here in this game, once again against Arlington. He's got the basketball now over to Desir. Ransom top of the key, taking on all comers and tying us up at 81 apiece. 81 all. Nothing decided as we go inside a minute to go. Williams into the forecourt. Arlington has kind of been content to run a lot of clock, and Williams goes behind the back. Now they got the shot clock down to 6. They got to go. That's an offensive foul. Good call by the official. Hodge threw him out of the way. Absolutely a good call, and a terrible possession for Arlington. I don't like this holding the basketball and trying to run clock. You play your game. Speaking of which, Kansas is going to set up a play, so we're going to go away with 41 seconds left to go. We'll be right back. Well, the defending champs are in a little bit of trouble. Tie ball game. Arlington, the 2 seed, and Kansas, the 7 seed. These two teams, we expected this one to be the closest of the 4 quarterfinals, and so far that has lived up. Now, Kansas has not led in this second half. Hyacinth brings it into the forecourt. Hyacinth fell down. Good no call by the officials as he just kind of fell down on his own. Ransom with 15 on the shot clock. From the baseline, gets it to go, and Kansas leads by 2. Boy, Elijah Ransom down the stretch, hitting a big bucket. Another timeout, 21.9. That's last shot time for Arlington. We'll be back. What a comeback by the Falcons. Now they got to play one good defensive possession, and they're on to the semifinals. How about this effort in the second half? Kansas Christian taking its first lead when it counts. Need a stop here. Arlington couple of guys have had a hot hand today. Hodge and Mallard are the two hottest. Mallard's in the corner. This is Williams with 12. Attacks. Can't get it to go. And the rebound by the big guy, the German Munchow. And a quick foul on Washington. So Washington will go to the line. It's still a 1-and-1. But if he hits these free throws, the Falcons are moving on. And they will send the two-time defending champs to the consolation 7th place bracket. Let me double check that. Actually, they're going to go to the 5th place game tomorrow, but not where you want to be. Kansas trying to close the door here with these free throws from Ja'Cory Washington, one of the senior leaders and one of the best free throw shooters in the ACCA at 80%. Swishes in the first one. One more to go for Kansas, and then all they got to do is get out of the way. What an unbelievable finish. Credit the Falcons for fighting their way back. John Jansen closes the door on Arlington. There will be no three-peat barring some sort of a miracle. The Falcons 5.8 away from moving on to the semifinals. We'll be back. Arlington's got to go lightning quick and hope for a miracle. 5.8 to go, two-possession game. Big free throws by Washington for Kansas. And the Falcons, it's their game to lose. Here's Trey Mallard throwing up a three. Got it to go. 1.1, not over yet. Quick foul. No time came off the clock there on the foul, and that's likely going to be corrected. Usually there's a certain amount of tenths of a second that have to come off. Might have had a timeout there. That's what happened. So timeout 1.1. We'll be back. .1 seconds. It's Kansas with the basketball. Big three by Trey Mallard, but Arlington's still up against it here. And if you're Kansas, interesting to see the play call. It's a steal. Mallard! Unbelievable! Heartbreak for Kansas. Are you kidding me? Arlington. And Trey Mallard scores 5 points in the closing seconds, stealing the basketball away to win it in dramatic fashion. Wow. Oh, your heart breaks for the Falcons. They had it. But what a defensive play by Trey Mallard. Unbelievable finish. Heartbreak for Kansas. And maybe some momentum for Arlington as they go into the semifinal. They move on to take on the winner of Rama and Ozark. Meanwhile, Kansas will have to regroup. They go to the 5th place game against Barclay. That'll be at Crowder College tomorrow at 5:30. Unbelievable game and unbelievable closing seconds for Arlington and Trey Mallard. That's going to do it for us here. What else can I say about this one? 86-85 Arlington. They win on a buzzer beater, and they move on to the semifinals. We'll be back in 15 minutes. We go to the women's quarterfinal. We will have the 5-seed Trinity and the 4-seed Ozark, the host school, coming up in about 15 minutes from right now. Once again, your final score, Arlington 86, Kansas Christian 85. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll talk to you.